Welcome back to Patriot Network TV. I got a headline for you here. I want to read it to you because I just can't believe it. I've got to read it out loud because if I have to say it from memory, I'll just burst into flames. Air Force Academy builds Pagan Chapel. Now, I want you to think about this. Even our president, good old BHO, says that we're in the worst recession since the Great Depression. So, in an effort to show that the United States Air Force is fiscally responsible, and lest anyone doubt this, I was born in the U.S. Air Force. I was born at Mather Field, just outside of Sacramento. I love the U.S. Air Force. And I'm just heartbroken that this is a headline and it's true. At the Air Force Academy, they have just built a chapel for, and again, I want to read this out loud to you. Air Force Academy adapts to pagans, druids, witches, and Wiccans by building a Stonehenge-type chapel. Now, they have a picture of this, and it looks like a bunch of rocks with a little fire pit in the middle with a propane tank. First of all, $80,000, they're out of their minds. Okay, second of all, you can't tell me that if Curtis LeMay was alive, he wouldn't be right up there at the Air Force Academy sacking everybody above the rank of bottle washer and cook at this point. How in the world can you say that in the middle of the worst recession since the Great Depression, the U.S. Air Force Academy is going to take $80,000 of taxpayer money and they're going to build the Cadet Chapel Falcon Circle, which is meant to be a mini Stonehenge. And we're doing this in the name, what's the name? What's the name? Diversity. We're doing this in the name of diversity. This just is insane because what they want to do is make sure that all of, and again, who are we catering to? The pagans, the druids, the witches, and the Wiccan. Now, if we went up there and said, you know, we're worried about how the Southern Baptists feel about being here in Colorado Springs when we want to spend $80,000 on the Southern Baptist Temple, every one of those ACLU nutballs would be out in the street screaming. Did you hear one word about this? Oh, no, you can't do this? No, this is just great. In 21st century America, you've got to have the Air Force Academy cater to pagans, druids, witches, and Wiccan. Now, get the numbers here. Get the numbers. I want to quote this directly. The Air Force says that out of the 4,300 students who are at the Air Force Academy, 3 fall into the category. 3 fall into the category pagan, druid, witch, or Wiccan. 3. Now, explain this to me. If we have to have a separate little Stonehenge for the druids, the pagans, the witches, and the Wiccan, don't we have to have a human sacrifice altar for the Satanists? Aren't we discriminating against the Satanists who want to serve honorably in the U.S. military? What about the Rastafarians who want to be in the Air Force? Are we going to have a separate marijuana lodge for them? What about the Native Americans? What about the Navajos who want to serve in the Air Force? Are we going to have to serve peyote for them? This is the kind of PC insanity that is ruining our country. Now, you can't tell me that if Chesty Puller was still at the U.S. Marine Corps, that he wouldn't go put an end to this. You can't tell me if Kurt LeMay wasn't still alive, he'd put, you just can't argue that they wouldn't put an end to this kind of crap. How in the world? $80,000, and you wonder why people like me are crazy about what they take in my taxes. It'd be one thing if it was going to help somebody, but they took money from me. And again, my First Amendment rights are that I get to practice the religion I want to. That also means I don't have to support religions I don't believe in. They, by force of arms, take tax money from me, and they spent $80,000. Pagans, druids, witches, and Wiccans. And keep in mind, the druids practice human sacrifice. Go, you open up your textbook, look it up. This is unbelievable to me, and they justify it under this rubric of diversity. Now, 4,300 students at the Air Force Academy, of whom they claim 11 are Muslim, 16 are Buddhist, 10 are Hindu, and 43 are atheist. 43 atheists. A year ago, there was a big story in the news about how the atheists want their own chaplains. To do what? Counsel them on what not to believe in? This kind of PC stuff is incredible to me. It is insane. Former Congressman, who was it, Bob Barr? Yeah, Bob Barr said we are on the road to madness here. He says, I can envision a day when we will have to have in military convoys a stop point. We'll have to have a certain amount of time devoted to human sacrifice, animal sacrifice, Rastafarian ritual, Zoroastrianism ritual, and other forms of First Amendment rights. Now, one of the stories that ran with this one, and this is out of the London Telegraph, they're saying that this little Stonehenge, this altar for the earth-centered religions, as they refer to it, is built, the $80,000 was spent to build this because they have the intent of actively recruiting pagans, druids, and Wiccans. Now, I read that and I just went, oh, you must be insane. But they go on, they hired a sociologist who told them many young men are attracted to Wicca, paganism, and Druidism because of the video game fantasies of warrior games. And they need people who are spiritually adept and great fighters. Now, whoever thought this up, if this is true, whoever thought this up, we've got to fire him. We have got to fire him. The U.S. Air Force Academy doesn't need a mini Stonehenge. They didn't need to spend $80,000. This is what's wrong with the politically correct movement in America. If you think that we're lacking in the number of pagans, druids, witches, and Wicca, you're in real trouble. Dear God, bless us and bless the United States and get rid of those pagans, druids, Wiccas, and Wiccans. May God bless and keep them far away from us.